All right, we're all good.
You got it turned off, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're all set. Welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about OP11. We did a little bit of that on the Friday show. We'll skim through it this time. We're also going to talk about the new Skirmish TLCs, which seem to really benefit some owners of some level 99 halls that will be named later. And we've got a few hints and about what the refactor is going to look like from Chris's diary. So let's go ahead and I'll introduce everybody from left to right. It's Magic Mike.
Hello, everybody.
And Father George.
Evening, everybody.
So I guess let's get started with the slides unless anybody has anything they want to open up with. Also I want to mention to everybody we're gonna open up the open mic a little bit earlier in the show because I picked out 3 of the survey questions that I thought might be good for a group discussion. So keep an eye out for that. And Mike, you want to present the slides? And but while he's doing that, does anybody have anything they want to start with?
Looks like TLCs will be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting topic. Let's just go through the slides. We'll get to them.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to it.
I should be ready to go.
You got a screen share first?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Now we should have it.
All right, we're all set. And I guess let's go to bug fixes.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yep. Gathering resources without visiting your base once the resources are dropped off. You're not receiving your resources. So I guess, does that mean that you dock and launch without going to your base so you don't get the resources, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So they fixed that. Fleets that engage in combat in the companion app cannot be accessed after docking. Okay. I guess that's been fixed. The 114 target is not available in the companion app as a valid target, so now it is. Even though I think there's, well, at least last week at the beginning, there was way too many 114s and 105s on the map. And I personally had to go out of sector for the 2 weeks prior and the beginning of last week to even find a 120, and maybe there would be a 120 in my sector. I don't know if it was a locator issue or a spawning issue, but it seems to be fixed.
And it seemed like we had far more 121s than we had 120s.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know what's going on. Something weird happened to these slides. So let's go on to the next one. There's a couple more bug fixes, but here's what we had. Oh, by the way.
That was all by itself. Sorry.
No problem. This, like I mentioned earlier, this is part of CM Chris's diary. And these are the new features that would, if the refactor dropped now, this is what we would see associated with it. We had world chat. Now we're going to global chat. Does anybody have any thoughts on this one, or should we move on?
I think world chat and global chat are the same thing.
No, we have world chat now. Global chat.
I think that the global chat and world chat are the same thing. I think they just call it global chat.
But these are, okay, as you see, if you take a look through the slide, you see now available and now available. We have world chat.
We also have fleet management system too.
But to launch attacks and counterattacks, well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's okay. So I guess the only thing that they're providing in this diary is that they're planning to consolidate these sectors and get rid of the inactive bases. This is about a month away. This, I think, is going to be controversial, especially to the people that grew up in their home sector and have stayed there the whole time, that have a good amount of sector pride, whatever number that may be. And if their sector disappears, we may see some issues.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that too is, if they consolidate it, say they take, alpha and beta and they merge it with, epsilon or something, right? The sectors that people move into, I mean, say you're in like 450, right? And that's your home sector. You guys, like, there's an alliance there. You guys have been there forever, and you end up in, sector 220. Is that, since that's now your sector, are you taking that over, or are you going to fit in with the people that are there? I mean, it's going to be an interesting transition for sure.
Yeah, and I forget which. I don't want to. Well, I'm not going to mention the mod, but one of the mods said that we're not going to see in Discord mentioned that we're not going to see a compression of worlds, just of sectors. So I don't know how true that is, but it was one of the mods mentioned it, and in case I don't want to identify the wrong mod. Yeah.
That's interesting, because one of the concerns that I have with this is, when we have, when you go to the map, if everything's going to get consolidated and there's going to be a higher density of players, we already have limited, like, 103s for base parts. Are they going to spawn more of those? Are they going to, compensate for that? If we went to, less worlds, I was worried about gold nexuses, because then that's going to put, more stress on other alliance. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that are ancillary to this that I hope that they've looked at.
Yeah, and Ren is agreeing with the less sectors per world, so same number of worlds. Yeah, and also by doing this, by compressing all these people, it seems like the sprites on the world map, people seem to think that leads to lag. And now we're going to be compressing more people into these sectors. So your screen is going to be filled with more, we can call them bits and bobs if you want, but there's going to be more stuff on your screen to create lag. Maybe they're going to get rid of the gantry at the same time. I don't know, but it seems like it would increase lag as opposed to decrease lag.
Depending maybe how many unusable bases there are too.
Well, the other thing is too, it depends on where the nexus of the lag is. If the lag primarily is from the servers, then you're going to have a net loss of things that those servers are going to be loading, because, if they cut it down to half the size, if we're only going from sector, 1 to 50, and you get rid of all those bad bases, you're not, the sectors, the server's not running 100 sectors now, it's running only 50. So half of the, Drac bases are gone, half of all the NPC stuff's gone, right?
Yeah, except for, like, if you notice, if you try to scan across the map looking for a target, it takes a little while to load just to get what should be on your screen, correct? It takes that, sometimes you scan around, look, like before the locator for the bounty, if you were looking for particular levels of our opponent bases or your opponent bases, it would take some time to load those in. I'm just saying there's going to be more things per screen, because if you have active players, they're going to be spawning something. They're going to have, the base plus a gantry plus 2 or 3 FM targets.
Right.
And
I mean, I can't even scroll across the screen now. I mean, the lag is so bad since the change in, I guess, in Chroma or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but the lag's just outrageously right now. I can't even scroll across the screen. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like if you, and part of that's that memory leakage that people have been reporting for like almost a year now, right? You scroll across the world, and all of a sudden your memory goes from like a gig to 3 gigs. It's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. I've had 3 flash crashes in the last hour and a half. That's abnormal.
Mm.
Doesn't some of this turn out to? It almost sounds like a wash to me. If they're gonna get rid of half of the stuff, maybe, but then they're gonna consolidate the sectors by half. It almost sounds like a wash.
Well, the sector, as far as the way I understand it, maybe somebody wants to go to open mic and explain this better. But it seems like, yes, everything on the map may be on the sector, but it's a matter of who's accessing it when. I don't see it as a wash. I see it as on both sides we're going to see more map lag because we're compressing everything, and everybody's that's out there is going to be encountering more stuff that they need to view on their screen at a single time. Everybody's going to be doing that. So besides just the gameplay part of it, it seems like there might be technical issues associated with it. But again, I'm not an expert in this, but I don't see a win in here. I would prefer to have something where, we could see how, if you jump blindly to a sector, let's see how active it is. Is this an active sector or is it a dead sector? I could see that as being useful, maybe a rating from 1 to 10 or a, red, yellow, green type of indicator to know if it's like one of these sectors that, has 10 people in it. And maybe you don't want to jump to that, or maybe you do want to jump to that. So it's, it's going to be interesting if they move forward with it. So anything else on the sector squeeze?
I just hope they don't mess with our resources. Like, it's already, like, right now, trying to get 103s, it's a race already.
Yeah, I have actually in my sector, because it's actually one of the very quiet sectors, I have an easier time getting 103s than I do 120s. 103 base part targets versus 120 FM targets.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty much right.
Yeah. So all Tier 7 PvP content will be released and available once the refactor drops at some point in late October-ish. And balanced and simplified Tier 7 PvP content, the refactor. So there's not a lot of details here as far as what's included in those. So right now the rest of it is what we already have, and I think everybody's aware of that. So I made another slide of just general things that I wish were mentioned in here more specifically. They might be covered under released and available or balanced and simplified. But Mike, if you could go to the next slide. What is missing in the refactor that hasn't been mentioned? This might be part of simplified, but PvP stat blocks that provide relevant information for a deflection environment. They haven't changed the stat blocks for our turrets or our PvP related ships since the game started. It's all based on single damage type resistance environment. And now we have to come up with 6-page spreadsheets that are hosted, third-party type of things to find out any sort of relevant information associated with, either designing your base or designing your ships in PvP. And it doesn't seem like something that the player community should have been doing. It sounds like something that Kixeye should be doing and providing to the player base in order to make informed decisions.
Quite honestly, I mean, at this point, with the complexity of the game, I want to see them send some money over to Huggy, take over the damn page, and incorporate it into the game, because with all the auras and stuff that they have going on and everything else stacking off of this and stacking off of that, we have zero accurate clue what the hell's going on unless you spend an awful lot of time making up a spreadsheet. I mean, like I have spreadsheets, and you've seen them, dude. Like, mine suck because I can't compress the equations. I actually do each thing out. Like when, like you and Brian and I mean Ren, fucking, you guys can get it down into like one equation. I fuck that shit. I will work everything out. I get the right numbers. It just takes me forever to do, and I hate doing it, but you gotta if you want to know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
And now with the percentages, like, and this is going to kind of drag into PvE a little bit, but with like the new raid set, right, that's coming out, we're working with percentage, like decimal places on the percentages, but that doesn't even show on the damn stat block. So, for each thing, both PvP and PvE, they really need to look at that and get us relevant information. I mean, we really do need that.
Well, I personally, as far as what you're talking about with this raid cycle, I think that was, I don't know if you want to call it a mistake, but yeah, the way this game is put together to push these resistance numbers up into that, 99.9, and then, you need to know what the rest of it is to figure out, because you could be taking significantly more damage. It is the thought behind pushing the system to that level is
the escalation to get there was bad. Yeah.
So, because right now, because it would be so great to have like something that says deflection damage for each damage type, because that's basically what we're trying to get out of it, especially if you're looking at your turrets. Are we going to overcome deflection here? Or are we not? Because it's fairly binary. Maybe this will change, but it'd be nice to know if we had the relevant information to make a decision without going to a third-party player-based website to figure this out.
And I mean, this goes beyond just the numbers for like deflection stuff too. Like we need to know things like splash fall off. I mean, there's so many moving parts now, and the builds for the ships and hulls and fleets now are becoming very niche. And when that happens, little things like that make massive differences, because we don't have essentially generalist hulls anymore. We don't have generalist play anymore. You're building very specifically, and when that happens, it's a specialist build. You, as a specialist, you always have to have very certain skill sets, right? So this starts getting to the point where we need that information. I mean, if they want this to work, we need that information. Otherwise, it just falls on its face.
Yeah, and I think we should probably go multi-use as opposed to generalist, because it's a specific, Zelos,
they know
chameleon.
what I mean.
Yeah. Just
they
in
know
case.
What I mean.
Okay. Alrighty. The other big thing that I think, as far as the stat blocks, the other thing that I think should be included in them, because like right now we have a splash percentage increase or a range percentage increase, or a projectile speed percentage increase, or a reload speed percentage increase. Why not just provide us what that is on your turrets? What is the actual value, as opposed to the percentage increase that causes you to go back, okay, here's the weapon, here's the percentage increase. It seems like it'd be easier just to show what the actual number is, because you don't have more than one weapon on a turret. I think that would simplify things for players.
That would be great.
Show the right retro numbers. I mean, they did correct one of them.
I don't have to figure it out. It's there for you.
I think, Hefe, I think you and I had discussed that they had actually corrected one of them in the game, at least. I haven't checked the other one still, but I mean, I was kind of taken aback that they had actually done that. So maybe that's coming. I mean, maybe that is part of this. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, this could be part of the balancing and simplification, but it's a big part, and I think it should be called out individually. And again, all these things could be covered under those last two bullets that weren't accomplished yet, or haven't yet to be accomplished. But it'd be nice, I think it would give at least me some sort of, feeling that they're going in the right direction and they understand what some of the problems are.
Yeah, and it's all about you, isn't it, motherfucker?
It's all about me. Yeah, it's all about me.
One thing that I would like to see, and I know this is like a reach, but I would really like to see something in the way of like a test area or monthly testing, they can block out like a monthly test server for the weekend, right? And go, okay, on this month it's gonna be players, you know, with a user ID from 0 to, you know, 1,000,000 or whatever the hell they want to do. But the problem is things have gotten so complex and things keep breaking. Things that they've fixed break again. I mean, we need to be able to find a way to test without having to rely on people that are willing to blow coin and time to figure out if the shit works. You know, I mean, I mean, look, turret-based accuracy still does not work. There's been like a year and plus that hasn't worked, right? We just got splash reduction to work. I mean, these are things that if they're not going to do it and they want us to do it, they've got to give us a venue in which to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting a little bit to talk about that once we get to the survey questions, because they ask a lot about experimentation, you know, things that we used to do or what we would want to do.
Well, I'm impatient, so I talked about it now. How's that?
No, it's okay. I'm just saying that's fine. I'm just saying, you know, it's just, yeah, they're asking us to pay for to basically beta test some of this stuff, and or find the stuff that's that they don't include in the blueprints, and it's so expensive at this point.
Yeah, but it goes beyond just that, though. I mean, it does go beyond that because we're also testing to see if it works. I mean, Ion Thruster 4, right, was the first one that had the splash reduction, and that wasn't working in forever. I mean, I tested that in the FM, I don't know how many times, and never fucking worked. And then Hyper 30 came out, and I think I told Templar to test one time, and he couldn't get Ion Thruster 4 to work or Hyper 30, and we're like, okay, what the hell's going on? And it took, I don't know how long to get that fixed. And I mean, these are the types of things that we've got to get fixed. And we've got to have a way to check. I mean, at this point, I really like, I don't know how many players are going to take Kicksai's word on anything. We're going to go test stuff. And if we're doing that job for them, we really need a venue in which to do it. And I understand they can't run a test server constantly. Otherwise, people won't play the game. They won't pay. They'll just go and play in the test server. That's fine. I understand that. And we can't have that many people at once. So they can come up with a system. They're cutting all these worlds down or whatever. Have a test area every weekend or once a month or something, and cycle the players through it. You know?
Yeah, yeah, in YouTube chat at this point, there's a discussion. A lot of people don't think either one of the splash damage reduction works, the ship-based one for Hyper 30s, and they don't think. I don't know. Again, they, you know.
So I got a chance to test it this week. Yeah, it was this week. And from the testing that I had done, the Hyper 30 seemed to have worked. Now, I didn't get a chance to, you know, winnow it down to just one individual thing, but I did see a difference in damage between having, like, I was switching between that and agility system, and damage from splash actually did go down. I don't know if it was, you know, that much. That's a whole nother story. I didn't have enough time to actually get into the numbers. So
yeah. Yeah, Ren asked if you tested it in the preview server, because as we know, the preview servers is different than the live server for some unexplained reason.
Well, can't talk about Fight Club.
Okay.
If there was such a thing,
I guess all you could answer is, did you test this in a live environment, and did it work that way?
That's what I was going to say. Is if I could say such a thing, I would probably say that I tested it in every environment that was available to me.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
One gives me more options than the other, though. So the one that I'm talking about is very limited because, you know, coin costs money. I don't have it, so you know.
Okay. I guess we could move on to the next one. I think no, I'm sorry, not the next slide, but the next point. I know there was the moderators have been hinting for a while in different places that we're going to see some dynamic in the game protect our chore fleets from Conqueror hulls getting sniped. I think that this would be an important thing for the players to know at this point, if this is part of what's coming, because I know it's I know one of my allies. Well, I know one of my ally mates, during the raid was getting sniped by a level 75. He can't hit back, and but just had one missile. Not during the during the raid with one missile storm cruiser. He still doesn't. It's David and Goliath, and it's like you can't hit him back. You can't rocket his dock. You got to come out hot every time and hope everything works out real well.
And you don't lag. And that's how I got caught. I had my Cadies and four Manticores, and it got sniped coming out of one of the targets, and I had lagged and lost the whole damn fleet. And I was like, oh, I'm done for a day. See, I'll see everybody tomorrow. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I hope that happens, because that is an issue in the game. Once they parted once they gave one 40,000 armor and the other one several million, it's just it's not even worth fighting. You're going to die.
Yeah,
and it's going to take you 22 hours to repair. Balance the impact of base hitting on defender and attacker. What I mean by this is, if you go out and hit a base, you only have the repair time associated with your Conqueror fleets, which has been minimized. But if you are the defender who didn't start this, doesn't know, and the attacker can pick when they want to do this. But the defender has, okay, well, I'm going to have, I got to repair my fleet, which is, they've reduced that to be similar to the Conquerors, very similar to the Conquerors. But like right now with the OP11, if let's say you go to work, somebody hits you, or you go to sleep, work, whatever, somebody hits you, you're not aware of it, you come back 8 hours later, and your upgrade's going to stop on your outpost, I'm assuming. And then, so you got that 8 hours. Then you got to start repairing it, which is what, 10 plus hours. So you would lose about 18 hours, just from that one thing.
See, but part of this, and I don't know how many people remember this, but there was a point where that had gotten to be a real issue, and they had started doing, like, repairs kept on going, building times kept on going, researches kept on going, even when you were flattened, and that lasted for, I don't know, like a couple of updates, and then they either fucked it up or they changed it or whatever the hell it was. But they should just do that. I mean, there's if they want people to be in PvP, you gotta make the negative for getting hit a lot less. Otherwise, people are just not going to bother.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember it too. I mentioned in Discord, and one of the mods said, "Oh, I don't remember that ever happening." And because my limited forum access, I couldn't find it. I'm assuming it happened under Doom Rooster's watch, but because I had some people remember it, but not that many people, because it didn't happen right away after we went. I think it's when we went to OP9 that happened, but I'm not.
I thought it was before that. No, this was way before that, I think.
Okay.
I want to say it was with the what was that Reaver rocket ship that we had? Fucking Hellstrike. I think it was before. I think it was even before then, maybe, or around then. I can't. Like I have a feeling that it was a while ago.
Okay. I thought it was more recent, but I think it was, because they started it because they realized that people were going to take months and months to upgrade their outpost because of this, because of what was going on there. And it doesn't just impact that; it impacts across the game. And now things take so freaking long. I mean, the reason they did it at the beginning, because things didn't take that long, and they wanted to increase engagement. But now you're talking, you're not out of the woods for, you're not out of the woods for 20 days, which is not good for a lot of players, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Anybody, Mike, George, you have anything else on what's missing in the refactor?
I mean, I don't know. Like every time I start thinking about the refactor, just I think like he had posted in that diary that maybe they had over communicated and this and that, and to some extent, I mean, I guess you could say that they over communicated, but I tend to go, I think they just haven't communicated just enough. Like it's good what they've been doing, but when you come out and go, hey, we're going to do the refactor, right? Like it took them almost a month to tell us why they had to have all the pieces out, which it's an explanation. It's not like it gave anything away, but it would have been good to know when they told us, because when you give some information and it's excessively vague, right? People feel uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you guys have some sort of plans, we understand. Clearly, I mean, there's no one bitching about, hey, things are changing, right? Like you guys said this and now it's this or whatever. I mean, there's still a little bit of that. I mean, there's always somebody, but for the most part, if you're going to start telling us something like, hey, we're thinking about this, I would rather them come out and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this in this way, right? That doesn't give us specifics, but at least gives us the direction, because if we find issue with it, right, we're going to be able to have some feedback, get it back to them, and then they might go, hey, okay, that's good, we got to add that in. Like, for example, cutting the sectors down. Like, are they going? There are things that have to be thought through with that, other than just cutting the sectors down and consolidating everybody. There's the resources. There's the stuff on the map. There's the lag. There's all that stuff has to be discussed. And the thing is, they're working from their own site. There might be some stuff that they don't even realize because they don't. Well, let's be honest, they don't play like we play. So, I love the communication. I just wish that there was a little bit more in the way of direction through it. A lot of stuff, like I haven't been building a lot of PvP stuff because I don't know what's going on. Like, am I going to have to change engines? Do I have to accommodate for something else now? Is the Voltron idea going to be out the window and I can concentrate on putting all these the right weapons on the right hulls types of thing? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we really kind of need to know in a general sense, not specifics, but in a general sense, as to like kind of where they're going towards.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I think would be good.
Yeah, I still think it's not too much communication. It's like I sort of hear from you, it's not enough, and so
right.
And so at the end of the day, he said it was too much communication, but he says he wants to favor on the side of too much communication. And I love reading the forum responses that only read like the first two sentences and didn't read the whole thing, and that was amusing, where they were like, yeah, but whatever. Let's go on to
Are you saying that people are like just kind of reading a sentence or two and then like
posting them
come to conclusions with no, like, I mean, like, isn't there's a word for that, I think, right? An ignorant response? Is that what it is? I don't know.
I don't know. I just found it amusing. So yeah, let's
move
move
for
on.
Good chats, though. I will say some of the stuff in the forum has been entertaining lately.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is Devil Driver. This is a 3-stage plus a 3 times what is it? It's a 3 times mastery for earning the Bat Ray, its kit, and then potentially up to a week of build tokens for the Bat Ray. And just a word right now, if you have skirmish tokens, save them. If you can earn these, use these before the skirmish tokens, because we're going to get the flags. You'll be able to use the skirmish tokens on the flag that we're getting in the next raid. Basically what we see in this is all the S-set targets. And, on the first one, I've only done prize pack 1 and peaked at prize pack 2. You get the first 4 S targets in prize pack 1, and then you get basically all of them in Prize Pack 2. I don't know what happens in Prize Pack 3 and Mastery Round. I'm assuming they just cut the time down because the first two are 2 hours.
Oh, that's good. Does the third one go to a 1 hour?
I don't know. It's my only assumption on how they're going to make it harder.
Got it. Gotcha. Okay.
Because, or they make up a target in Prize Pack 3. I don't know. Did you go into Prize Pack 3 yet, George?
I did Mastery on the other one.
Yeah, Snoopy's saying there's 7 targets in the last 2.
And 1 hour? Snoop, does he know?
I don't know. We'll see in a minute. But
I can tell you. I can tell you probably in about like 10, 15 minutes when my conversion of the video finishes. I'm trying to do it in the background and.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, 1 hour.
Should put some
7 targets in 1 hour for the last 2.
That'll put some significant pressure on you.
Yeah, that will be.
No question.
Yeah, and it'd be a good time to have both fleets, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that that the targets in each of the, like Devil Driver and the other one are all the same, right?
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like it because I did the first one for the Bat Ray, but then I finished the other one to get to Mastery because I wanted to finish some Razor Tails. I mean, I have a problem with the TLCs. I mean, I understand that they want to make the Masteries a little bit difficult, but here's the thing: like I have both of the fleets built, and that's awesome. And I have the Cadies, which is even better. And I made that decision right after the first raid. I was like, okay, I've got to have that option, right? I'm glad that they allowed it in here because people have invested and they kind of got boned out of the last raid set that had them, especially those that built them like a month or 2 early or coined them out before the first raid or whatever. But the thing is the scatter hull is supposed to have been that auto hull, or if you want to call it a blitz hull, that's fine too. But the thing is you're not gonna. I have to go back and look. I don't remember how many I could do back to back. But if I auto these things, I don't know that I'll be able to finish it, and that I would have an issue with, because that is kind of the point of that fleet,
Yeah, and I'm disappointed you can't win the badge 3 times.
Why they even put it? Oh.
Well, because people like badges, and you can't. If you got one in the raid, you want to get the other one.
I think the answer is if you see a badge in a TLC, yeah, you're in for trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, the way they have the prize pack set up, prize pack 1, 2, and 3 should be done reasonably, right? The mastery prize, because it's just extra tokens essentially, and VXP ones. That one, if you want to kind of get funky and do like all S targets, then fine. But like prize pack 1, 2, and 3 should be like the B and A sets, and then like maybe prize pack 3, the last one on prize pack 3 be one of the S targets, and then you can do what fuck you want in the mastery one. That can be all the. But from the get go, I'm pretty sure it's all S targets, all the way through. Which, I don't know. I don't know the way that they're saying that we're going to have to build both of these fleets now, and it's only a 3-month raid set. I don't know why they would make it this difficult for people to get the stuff.
Because we can get it next week in the raid.
Okay, but that's one of the 3 done. You've already lost a third of the raid set now.
Oh, you're talking about if somebody didn't have either one of them going in.
No, I'm saying if you have one and you want to get the other one.
Well, I'm gonna probably be working on my my bat ray, my 4 bat rays up until really close to the raid being over. I mean, I'm really close to the raid starting.
Right, but what I'm saying is that they've already said that essentially that we're going to need both of the fleets, right? Because each of the S targets are going to be tuned better for one or the other, which goes back to what we had before, which means you want to have both of these things, especially when TLCs and stuff come out, because you don't know which one we're going to have. So you have to build 2 of these fleets. If you're going to have the stuff, if you have 2 fleets and you have 3 months to do this in, right, or 3 months for the raid set, you got to make this easier. You have to.
Yeah.
because people have got to get their stuff out. Because I know I'm already frustrated, and I'm pretty sure I can get both of the fleets out before the third raid that comes out, but I'm not happy about it. Like and I know a lot of players that are struggling just to get 4 or 3 out before the next raid, let alone try and get 2 full fleets by the end of the raid set.
Yeah, and it's
And I mean, saying that it's going to come out in the next raid, that's not really all that great, because that means you've already lost 33% of your option of use or whatever. I mean, because you only have 2 raids now.
well, okay. Well, if you're getting the bat ray at this point, you're, I mean, unless you can't completely get it at all, you're gonna have to spend a lot of coins to get one of these fleets up and ready for the raid. So that 33% is, you understand what I mean? Like if you want to, like if you have the razor tail right now, and you want to also build a bat ray for the first raid, to get one completed and ranked and whatnot.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that. I'm saying just to get it going, because the thing is it's going to be much easier if I have these things now and I have at least the hulls out and I get them started. They're going to do so much better equipped for VXP weekend than me trying to crank them out blank by VXP weekend and then trying to do the flag. You know what I mean? And then you have the other players that don't have either one of them. That barely scratched through the Mana Core raid and have, like, I know a lot of players that have just the 4 regular ones that don't have a flag. What the hell are they going to do?
Yeah.
They can't even get the damn hull.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue, but I don't know. Look, Mike, let's move on to the next one, since it's basically the same. It's the same story, just
the other side. Yeah.
Just a different badge.
Yeah. Yes. This is the Cutter's badge, but yeah, it's the same story here.
I like that.
Okay. Ready?
All those kids that cut themselves are going to love that badge.
Yeah. Well, and Ren's gone with the Coke sorting badge, so that's another possibility.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. This might be this might be a very popular badge. Let's go back to the last one, Mike. I want to see if
Manta Ray.
Well, the Wingman badge is, you're still in second place at that point, but yeah, it's got an interesting title. So, do we have anything else in the TLC? But yeah, I agree with you. It shouldn't be as hard as it is. And hopefully,
Price Pack 1 took me between 5 and 6 hours damage for Price Pack 1.
Yeah, see, that's just
That's
not,
a little
that's
too
not
much.
cool.
And
1, 2, and 3 should not be, to get to the hull shouldn't be that hard. And it's not like they loaded up the first 3 prize packs with anything like exceptionally phenomenal, except for the weapon special and the hull, which is typical, right? I mean, if you're going to struggle, you're not going to be able to do both.
I could have drove better, probably.
Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, and all the tokens are already in the mastery thing. So I mean, what's the why make it that difficult?
Yeah, I mean, it took. Originally, I thought, okay, prize pack 1. I won't even. It should be easy. I'm only getting is the way the special. I'm not even gonna bother to put a crew on, because I was low on uranium and didn't have the crew I wanted to use, and I was like, I'll go ahead and see if I can get a crew and put it on there. And then I still took 4 hours and 18 minutes of damage with the crew. So yeah, I assumed it was going to be somewhere in the 1 hour range as far as my damage. So, and I don't have the cadence. So, yeah.
Hefe, you'll be happy. I just got message that the show's so good that they put us up on the big screen TV.
I see.
Nice.
Yes.
I mean,
That's
nervous.
awesome.
I start flipping screens.
Now
here.
you're nervous?
Yeah.
How did I hit the button? Sorry.
Mike's
Yeah.
gonna fuck it up.
No, I hit the button wrong. Yeah, I'll fuck it up. What the hell?
Okay.
Hit the button.
All
wrong.
right. Well, let's
Hit
move
the
on.
button.
Yeah, I agree that it should be simplified for a lot of people, but yeah.
I mean,
It's a little
ju-
aggressive. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just
Just a
you
little
know,
aggressive.
there's two of them, right? So the players that have are going to be able, like, I'm going to be able to do both, right?
Mhm.
But the players that are struggling, you know, they're not even going to be able to do one, let alone two. And if you kind of toned it down so they could get at least the hull, I mean, should even make just one of them easier so you can do it with like a 4-man core fleet. I mean, they know that these people exist, right? Let them go to prize pack 3, and then you can put the screws to everybody in the mastery prize, in the mastery prizes, you know? Because then you can decide, hey, do I want to coin it one way or the other? I mean, that's fine. You got the, you know, the either or, but I mean, if they want players, like the whole point of this was so they can get players to, you know, participate and engage, and this is not doing it. I mean, you got to let them have some of the stuff, because players that are struggling might coin through with 4 mana cores to get one of these if it was somewhat reasonable, but they sure as shit wouldn't do 2. So that's kind of like a win-win for everybody. I still can't fathom why they made it this difficult for prize packs 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's just I can't.
Yeah.
Or levels, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, prize packs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're beating a semi-dead horse on this one. So let's move on to the Outpost 11, which everybody got in their with the chance to upgrade to during the late night update last night. All the other ones, I think, except for a couple of them, if you see a bunch of red, that means that I took my own screen captures and to show what happens if you have a buddy, as people like to say it. You know, if you have a Facebook friend or whatnot that helps you upgrade it, because otherwise you can just go to the forums. So this shows the reduction in that. But I didn't do it for the Outpost. But Outpost 11's here. You'll see some things in here that that at the end of the day, I think are going to get added in according to what I saw on Discord last night. Power increase is going to occur. We're going to start seeing walls and defense platforms added in. If you're going to start doing this right now, don't use your 2-day tokens. Just use your 1-day tokens that you have, the one of 2. If you have extra tokens, I wouldn't use it on the Outpost proper until we know more. Because I'm really hoping there's going to be a TLC that, well, I guess I'll leave that for the Shipyard, because the Shipyard is a real glaring issue.
Yeah, that's the one that I would use tokens on.
Yeah, this is
more than the 1-day ones. Yeah, I wish they had let the what was that damn campaign that had the tokens in it? Because I know a lot of people were waiting to do them yesterday, and then we lost those like 2-3 hours that you couldn't play. That threw off. Like, I mean, it threw me off.
Base race.
Yeah, base race. I wish they had let that go for another day. I mean, I'm a little pissed off that they didn't, because I was planning on doing it. I had set aside a certain amount of time right after dinner, and I was upset. Didn't get a chance to run any of it.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess there's not much, we'll get to rest of it. We see an increase in uranium and titanium. Like I said earlier, we're going to go through this fast because we're going to do this on Friday. There's a 3.6 million increase in armor, which can be offset in the next slide somewhat with War Academy 16, which is 9 days to increase or upgrade if you have an officer, which adds 2.5 million armor. So,
see, what I don't understand is why they added it to the War Academy instead of the mine thingy, my bobbies, the uranium and titanium generators, because A lot of people from way back in the day, there were academies fortified.
Yeah, and I
So,
actually had Mike
guilty.
file a ticket. Mike filed a ticket because he's in that situation,
Oh, really?
and they're
Yeah.
going to pass that up as far as because I had him file a ticket and asked to remove his fortification because
cool.
now it's
Because
at
it
a
can't
disadvantage.
recycle it.
Yeah, you can't recycle this because if without a war academy, you can't launch any ships.
Yeah.
And so they put it in a situation where it cannot be recycled. So it's been passed up, and
They kind of
we were
said, sorry about your luck, but we'll pass it up, sort of is what I heard when I
yeah.
read
They
it.
also said they hadn't heard of this before.
They
Which I
also
found,
said it was the first time he had heard of it, right?
yeah. So,
Shocker.
Yeah.
Right hand meet left hand. Surprise.
yeah, and that's a lot of resources.
Yeah.
I
Sure
mean,
hell is.
go back to the Outpost. This is more than the Outpost, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
double. Is it almost double?
It's more than double.
It's more than double.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of resources for the work.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they got this from, but
Well, first you're going to have to do all your warehouses. You have to upgrade all your warehouses.
do we?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's like
to
700 and
get
something
those
for
kind
one of them,
of
right?
numbers.
707 million and then 325. Well, yeah,
Or
the
you
uranium
can
is
scrap
also,
some. You can scrap some ships.
Scrap some ships, yeah.
Yeah, scrap some ships and over because if you scrap ships, you can overstack in your
See, that's why I
in your
said
warehouses.
chests. So I got several hundred chests. I can. Okay.
So yeah, this is this is with the officer. So yeah, I'm planning to build a second to balance out my bubble. Maybe the wrong move, but it's about what it does. Oh, and everybody's happy about the increase of 35 storage slots, so you can save your icebreakers, so you can do the base race TLC.
It's funny. I actually built those yesterday morning. No, day before in the afternoon to do
Mhm.
that, the base race. Yep.
Yeah,
Didn't quite get to use them, but fuck.
the Rado's War Academy is done. So
Is it, you filthy coiner bastard?
yeah. So
Send me some.
mhm.
Is his fortified?
Yeah, the Rado is your War Academy fortified. I never saw reason to do it, but I'm not going to make fun of Mike for doing it.
Well, I did it because I didn't know any better. It was way back in the day where I just, you're just doing everything because I didn't know anybody or anything about anything.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know anything.
Let's go to the next one.
All right. I can do that.
Okay. All right, Warehouse 17. The big thing I see here that we would expect to see is an armor increase. We're not seeing this here. And I have not done that, so I don't know if there is an armor increase. It's just not showing up. But what we are seeing here is we are doubling our titanium capacity with an outpost upgrade and upgrading all your warehouses. So we've gone from 250K to 500K. And
Think
also,
about the chores.
That worries me.
Think about the number 85 you got to hit to fill that sucker up.
but again, by the time we're done with this, by the time I'm done with this, I don't think there's going to be 85s on the map anymore.
No,
I think it's going to be the mana core targets, and hopefully they've learned, because for some reason they decided to cut in half the resources or the payout associated with those targets. But I don't know. But just to speak ahead a little bit, the titanium extractor, whatever it is, I forget what it's called, does have half the generation rate as the uranium one, even after the change. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, that's
I worry about those total capacities because every time that it's gone up and every time it's gotten to that point, we end up needing it for something. Something happens, and I mean, I'm already all chored out. I don't know what what exactly they're planning, but holy crap, I hope they don't increase the need to get more than we already do.
Yeah. I mean, because that's my lead. That's the one I do expeditions for, and yeah, I don't generate Conquer VXP tokens. I don't play with my Mega because I only have a Phoenix. I don't have Skyfires, so I don't like hitting those targets all the time. Even though I take minimal damage unless I get hit by the cheese balls, and I've only been getting hit by the cheese balls after the countermeasure fix, and I have two anti-mortar. I have a Gale 3 and a Gale 1. I'm still, getting hit and getting 3 hours of damage hitting those targets. Because, that's ridiculous. In my mind, that target, the fact that they have this random damage, you can't even see where those things are going. It's, it's,
And they got enough splash on them that even if you're just, I don't know, I'll say a half an inch on the screen away from it, you still get massacred.
yeah. So let's move on. So we covered these on Friday. Let's go on. Dock 15. Oh my, we're going to see a huge increase in the weight of our ships, which worries me also. Doesn't appear that we're going to be able to take the next level of technology and put it on our older ships. Because
what was that about Tier 7 not being just
we're not going to do what we did last time.
I mean, you're just doing it in a different way. Then that is very troubling as well. That's real. I didn't even catch that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doubling and didn't they just redo all of the dock stuff so that things could fit on older? I mean, like they're going exactly counter to what they just quote unquote corrected.
Yeah, I was hoping for 125, 125K. I would have been with that, but 200K. That's.
I mean, this escalation that they keep doing set to set is what got us in here in the first place. I mean, that's why we're sitting at 99.5 and 99.7 resistances. That's why we have umpteen million freaking deflection on stuff. I mean, what happened to small steps? I mean, that's how it's supposed to be progressive, not abrupt. And that doubling the number is abrupt. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It took us 6 years to get to 100,000, 7 years, well, 7.5, I guess, whatever. It took us years to get, almost a decade to get to 100,000, and now you're going from 100,000 to 200,000 in a fucking week.
Yeah. Yep, that's not. But this isn't one I would do right away until we start to see these things. And this one doesn't get in the way of stuff. I mean, I would do it, but it doesn't get in the way of things like the Shipyard is going to, and that's a bone of contention with me. But we're able to take the armor on it once you put the plates on it from 500,000 to 1 million, which is basically, the idea of bunker busting somebody's dock is gone. We need to come out with a bigger bunker buster. Because how much does a bunker buster do? Does anybody have the game open?
Not enough.
No, not nearly enough to even really dent this. So.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Hang on a second. Let's see. A extra large bunker buster is 32,000.
Yeah, okay, 32K. So yeah, it's not 32K versus 1 million. You're gonna have to drop quite a few. So let's
but here's the thing too, though. I mean, well, I guess 32. I mean, if you drop a couple of them on it, it's not going to auto repair. It has to be destroyed to start auto repairing. So you could harry someone that way.
Yeah, give them 12 minutes of damage or something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Shipyard 6. All right. This is one, it's got several issues with it. The first one is it's 16 days without an officer. So it's probably 14 plus with an officer. You can't build with it while it's upgrading.
That sucks.
Yeah. So that's why I mentioned earlier to save any of your tokens besides the normal 1 days that you get 1 of 2 of, to save it for the Shipyard 6.
14 days, 22 with an officer.
Okay. But we need to have, I forget what the TLC was, that you could get like 5-7 day build tokens. This was a while ago, well, over a year ago. And people save them for something like this. We need something like this again, or else people aren't going to use it. It does 2 things. It unlocks expert build, which we can talk about a little bit later, maybe once we go to open mic, because I'm not thrilled with it. But it adds 15% weight saving on Legion weapons and armor. This does not occur just with Shipyard 5. You need to have Shipyard 6 in order to do that. The rest of it below that, as far as I recall, works with Shipyard 5. So
we have 15% weight savings in the Conquest Yard, but not in the Shipyard. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, click one more time. As you see, here is a Legion Neither rocket. The weight is 805 on the weapon, and then it's 805 in a level 5 Shipyard. So
interesting. That, of course, assumes that the display reflects that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think they should. Yeah, it's just the way the upgrade screens work. I'm not sure how to make this any better, but let's go. Let's move on. All right, this has changed. The uranium facility, as far as the payout, has been increased tenfold. And again, it's another good thing to use associated with your bubble pad. Talked about this before. The numbers up there right now are incorrect, but I don't have new blueprints associated or blueprint views associated with this to provide it. But they basically multiply this one by 10 times, and then click one more time, Mike. The titanium extractor by 5 times, according to the post that Chris made based on what Saltwater sent in. So, any thoughts on these?
Lovely.
Any thoughts?
I mean,
It'll help.
I mean, the payout is like, what they cut? They cut it over a 30-day span or something when they gave us the totals. So like at first it looked like we were going to get something that actually would help, and I mean it's going to be a nice trickle, but
yeah.
I mean it's not even near as good as like just hitting. I mean, I just don't understand why they just didn't fix expeditions.
Well, I originally
yeah.
I originally put out I had other stuff with the original numbers, and I think it like 262 days to make the uranium one pay for itself, and it was like 28 days relative to hitting the highest level uranium scourge target. And I'm like, okay, but the uranium one they made 10 times better, and the titanium one 5 times better. So, hey Ren, how are you doing?
You can have 5 of them.
Hey, good, Jeff. You?
No.
Hey, George.
Hey, Ren.
Mike.
And I
If only I could
posted
have
the
5.
link in case anybody would like to join. And yeah, you're limited to 1 each at this point in time. And I guess at some point we're going to get the ability to add armor, and it'll spawn sharks with lasers and all sorts of stuff in the future. But we're not there yet. Hey, Ben. And then Conquest Yard. Okay. This is, like we said, Friday. We go through this much more thoroughly on Friday. This is a new Conquest Yard. It's not, it only has just shy of a 3-day build. This is not the same Conquest Yard that everybody has right now, which is the following one.
So there will be 3
No,
shipyards.
no. This is an upgrade. This is like
Okay, it's an upgrade. Okay,
this is an upgrade. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, let's go to the next one. This one is the one that you currently have in your base. If you have a Conquest Yard.
yeah, yeah, that's right. I saw that.
Okay, and the next one is once you get to OP11 and you want to upgrade your Conquest Yard, this is what you have. All it adds is expert build.
And Jeff, one thing that was not documented in the update,
Mm-hmm.
anybody who had the Conquest Yard building before the update
Mm-hmm.
got it finished after the update at level 2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool because a lot of times people have to cancel and restart.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Exactly, because the original build time was like 42 days. Now it's down to 6. So anybody who had it going had it finished.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the expert build in 20 seconds. The expert build provides the ability to build a ship and its components at a faster speed for additional resources, both normal resources or top 4, and potentially uranium at higher levels. And it depends on the age of the hull. As an example, the Inferno Dragons, a 10% build time reduction with like a couple 100,000 additional uranium. The Zelos, 50% build reduction, didn't require uranium, but you're required to have the top level tech to build a Zelos faster, which they are getting that Zelos out of every target faster than, somebody make the analogy here so I don't make a dirty one.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
Okay, I'm just saying they're getting rid of that.
To note too, I think I'm pretty sure that the reductions that you see too are going to be tier based. So like each tier is going to be a different percentage drop, and that they're just going to flag each of the hulls as to whether or not an expert can be applied.
And
I
they have
know
to
a
be
lot of people
scratch
ask me
built.
that.
They have to be
They
scratch
have to be
built.
scratch built.
Right?
They can't be refits, right?
So expert doesn't mean somebody's going to help you. It just means
Right, and I'd asked why didn't they call it expert builders, and I don't know if it was that they didn't have enough room for the word or what, but I know that they went, oh, well, we'll look at that. So
Would have been so much better. Expert
it would have made
builders.
so much more sense. Yeah,
the way it's laid out is a bit misleading because I said, "Oh, now I get some help on how to build these."
Yeah.
You were hoping those people on directly were going to help you provide your build, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Special, and this or that because you don't know, so you go to the expert. But no, this is totally different.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit disappointing.
Master right shipbuilders is what they meant, but
Okay, it's all good. Let's let's
love
move
it.
on. Move on. Okay, now let's just switch to open mic. The link is there, and now you can go to the next slide because I wanted people to participate in. I have multiple questions in the current active survey that's ongoing at this point that I found the most interesting. It's just 3 of them that I give people a chance to discuss. Please rank the best part of Blackwater Days. I assume if what are Blackwater Days means you have no idea what that means. So you would put that as a 1, I think, and then you walk away.
I would hope that people realize that this, there are not a lot of Blackwater players. I think when did we stop Blackwater? Was it Revenge Raid? Run Trade 2, something like that? Because I thought it was before I had started, and I was trying to find it in the forums, and someone had referenced it during one of the raids, and I was like, right, I played that raid, but I know that they had stopped it about where I started, and I have like a 3.3 million ID. So much past that, you don't remember Blackwater because you weren't in it. I didn't even think I was in it. I mean, I was I think that short lived from when I started, and I started like a little bit past mid-year in 2011, I think. September, October, something like that. I don't know why this question is in. What they probably should have asked, is just what do you like the best from back in the old days or something like that. I don't know what the percentage of people that are played in Blackwater, but
kind of a subjective thing. You're not in
what's subjective?
Go ahead.
because one person's back in the old days might be different from, say, mine, who started playing way backwater,
In beta.
in beta.
Right. Well, Blackwater ended before beta was done. I mean, I don't know how else to like the way they phrased it. I didn't like the fact that they referenced Blackwater. It sounded like they were referencing it, not realizing what it was. You know what I mean? So it kind of takes away from the value of the question, I think. Because if you didn't play Blackwater and you don't remember clearing the map, I vaguely remember it because you had to do that in StarCraft, right? Like when I first played, like every day I would play, I'd be like, man, they stole that from StarCraft. Man, like it was really heavily influenced by some of the stuff in StarCraft, right? And I don't know, yeah, I can see if you got like a 16 million ID, you sure don't know what the old days were. And the thing is I think the players that play a lot of PvP, if I had to guess, I have nothing to support this, just a gut guess from interactions and stuff. I would guess that most of the players that really love PvP are older players from the game. So then when something like Bounty comes up and we have this huge disparity in, yeah, I love Bounty the way it is now because I can just go and, I can farm all these NPC targets and da-da-da. And then you have the other players that are like, yeah, dude, this sucks. I want to hit bases and, get my bounty. I think that kind of exemplifies the difference in thought processes between the two. Because on the one hand, we have people that are like, oh, these lazy pirates just want to come and steal my bounty and da-da-da. On the other hand, we're like, yeah, well, that's how we fucking did it for years. Where have you been? And it kind of makes the PvP discussion difficult because there's two different frames of reference. So I think they could have done a little bit better with this question.
I'm open.
Yeah, a better way of asking the question would be, what was the best part from back when there were no scheduled events? Because that's what it was. But those days were the days when there was no FM, no raid, no scheduled events at all. Like Battle Pirates was a game without a schedule, right? There was no VXP weekend, bounty, raid, FM, TLCs, nothing like that. It was an open map.
You're talking way back before. You're talking like in the heart of Blackwater days.
Well, because when they started Revenge Raid, I think Blackwater was gone. Because they had to clean up the map to make all the salvages visible so people could actually do Revenge Raid.
Yeah.
I think, well, what I had found in the forums, the reason why I said that was the frame of reference when they stopped Blackwater is because they had to shut it off for one of the raids. They actually came and posted that they were shutting it off for the raid so people could see the salvages, and they put it back up. But then I guess at some point between that one and the next one, they just stopped.
Yeah.
So that was.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is the actual Blackwater days was a period of less than 10 months after the game got into open beta, early in 2011. And then I think October 2011 was the first raid. So it's that period, maybe between February and November 2011. It's a very short period back in 2011, 7 years ago, when Blackwater happened. That was it.
I think you're getting distracted by the title. The answers that they're asking you questions to gives you the time period when you could do all those things. So the title should really say, what was the best part of the game before we meddled and messed it up?
But that's relative, right? I mean, they're being very clear about Blackwater days, and you just look at the third option from the bottom, where it says no schedule activities. The only period in this game without schedule activities was up to October 2011. How many players remember that?
I do.
Look at the other things that have gone on since. Hit anything with everything, experimentation, and multi-purpose fleets. There's 50% of the answers that more people.
I miss multi-purpose fleets.
Oh, me too, big time.
Oh shit! Now I got to leave that motherfucking game.
Building shit that I want to build instead of some shit that people want me to fucking build, which is going to be shite.
Yeah, and even
build
schedule them.
fleets for doing what I want to do and actually make them better than what the shit you want me to fucking build.
Yeah, even in schedule events where they only had a handful of targets as a variety, the fact that some people would be hitting them with cannons, some with missiles, some with mortars, some with subs, created variety in the game without them having to design 100 targets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very different time. I'm sorry I had to step away after an hour, but yeah, it was extreme. I'm not sure how much you got into this round, but yeah, I mean, a lot of our experience was alpha and closed beta, so we saw different things going on. And so it will be interesting because they're going to be able to check if the people are making stuff up by their user ID. If somebody's making a lot of extra noise, I'm going to mute you for a second, Aaron. Okay. I'm sorry, I got distracted there for a minute.
What's the difference between options 3 and 6? To me, they're the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Hit anything? I'm assuming the multi-purpose fleets deals with PvE, and the other one deals with PvE and PvP combined.
Well, I think it's because like you can't hit salvages now with PvP, and they have limitations on you can't hit the S target with anything but tier 7 mana cores. I think that's what they mean. Hit anything with everything.
But it's not only that as well. It's like even down to the TLC that they took out last week. So when I built my Inferno Dragons, I binned my icebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was basically just like taken out of the frame for being able to get 10 days of build tokens, which would help to do my OP and various other things. But I couldn't get those because I have no tier 6 garrison ships left anymore.
Ren, was the first raid part of Blackwater? I can't remember.
I think George was right when he said it during the raid they suspended Blackwater, but then after they brought it back, and then second month I think they got rid of it for good.
Yeah.
So Blackwater was over somewhere in between October and December 2011. That's when they got rid of it for good.
Yeah. I was going to say my favorite part of Blackwater was right after the first raid, which I got the HHA. I wasn't using it. I was still building it. But about the next day, Destro / the Harbonator, whatever you want to call him, he tried to snipe my Seawolves with 5 HHAs fully built out with assault cannons on it and sniped my Seawolves. And I took out his HHAs, and he was not happy because he told him the lead battle server engineer told him what the best build was for this. And I'm assuming that person got fired. I'm not certain, but I'm assuming that person did, because I could just outrange him by 2 or 3 with my Seawolves. That was my favorite part, because he was he was upset in comms after he tried to sign me. But that was my favorite part. It's not part of
Was
his.
he ever not upset in comms? To be fair,
Not a what?
I said, was he ever
He's
actually
a
not
nutter.
upset in comms?
Yeah. He was entertaining as hell in comms. As much as everyone wants to give him shit, and he fucking talked a lot of shit, but he was entertaining as hell in comms. I wish, and that's what I think. That's one of the things that made the game really fun, was that the guys were actually in there and they were playing, right, and they were interacting in the game. I wish we saw that. If maybe not from Will, that's fine, but like some of the devs would be nice to see in there playing. The CM, something like that.
Yeah.
Now the reality is like most people on this team now, the game team, are new, and to them, Blackwater is the stuff of legend, right? I remember this team. I remember talking to a guy from a previous design team a year, 2 years ago, and for that guy, he could not conceive Battle Pirates without all the PvE components that we call chores. And he's like, well, but hasn't the game always been like that? When you started playing, I'm like, no. What do you mean no? And I had to explain to the guy that when I started playing, the only chores were to hit salvages and mines, and then players would fight over them. And so even that would generate PvP, and there were no scheduled events. And for almost a year, for most people, the game was like that. And okay, they started introduce like one event a month. Okay, that was fun because we would shoot the shit and compete, and only the top guy in the sector would get it.
Like
but then it started growing, and I had to explain the whole timeline to the guy how all these little PvE things started creeping up and taking more and more time. And today, they are almost 100% of my time playing Battle Pirates because I just did a bit of FM. I did Pack 1, Pack 2 on this new TLC. And I hit some base parts, and I have 24-hour repair on my dock. So, of course, I'm not doing anything else for a whole day.
Mm-hmm. But Randy,
the guy didn't understand that the game was not always like that.
No, I mean, I have to be honest, right, because I'm quite busy in real life at the minute. So I don't have a lot of time to play. And to be honest, when I have actually got on and managed to have some time to play, I've not really wanted to, because I'll be perfectly honest, too many chores, too much bullshit involved in actually just playing the game. And I'm like, you know what, do I really want to get on? I mean, I can do the FM for free and everything else, and I can do titanium for free, I can do uranium for free, blah blah blah. But do I actually want to spend my time doing that? No, I don't. I just want to spend my time playing the game, hitting some bases, having some fun. I don't want to. I didn't even do bounty for the second month in the row because I'm like, I don't really care anymore, because it's just chore upon chore upon chore. And it's just doing my head in.
Yeah, I think the thing is I know companies like to look at engagement time and all that stuff, and the thing is back in the day, you could get on and play for an hour, half an hour, whatever you had time after work, whatever. But the thing is we wanted to stay on and we played for hours because we were entertained. Right? Now they're trying to, I don't know, maybe try and keep that number, like they might be a magic number or something. They're trying to keep that engagement.
Yeah, it's more like
to keep that engagement by using PV, by chores.
Hours, because we're going to make you stay on and play for hours, because you're going to need all of this fucking resources and this and that and that and that in order to just actually play the game.
And I think that might be some of the disparity between what we're saying to Kix and what Kix says back to us, and some of the stuff they've put out, because they're like, hey, we did this, and we brought out global chat, okay, and that's cool, and it, I liked it because it was reminiscent of what a sector looked like back in the day. I mean, that's how active the sectors were, and yeah, that's nice, but you're not fixing the underlying problem, which is, people wanted to play the game. Like, and, we suggest stuff and we're like, hey, do this or this or this. And you might take a hit and it might take a little bit of adjustment, but it would come back. I mean, there's still a lot of potential in the game. The game is still fun if they have stuff balanced, if they have things not be overburdensome. I think that's kind of where
overburdensome. I like that word.
I have words.
Well, you guys nailed something important. I mean, when I was at the height of my Battle Pirates fun experience years ago, used to play for some nights. I very irresponsible, but I used to play for 4 or 5 hours with my friends, hitting as many bases as we could find and coining the fleets back again and back again and back again, just so we could keep going. So that at that time, I used to spend $200-300 a month in the game. Right? Just to keep hitting. Today, I play for 30 minutes to 2 hours a night for free. I don't think I spend $20 a month in the game anymore. Here's 10 times less than I used to spend when I was having a lot of fun.
Right.
I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, today I'm compelled to stay just to get that piece of tech that I may need. I'm not having that fun I was having before with my strike cruisers or my MCX hitting bases on and on and on with friends. Like
my floating
for hours.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's like even that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit worse with the coining than you might have been, a little bit. But when I was having fun, I'd think nothing of dropping 4,000 gold and having a little 24-hour session of just smashing bases left, right, and center. And now I just feel like, really, like I don't.
A few times in the game, I actually coined entire fleets. I did that 2-3 times in the game. The problem is that out of the 3 times, twice, they were fleets that got neutralized in just a couple weeks, which pissed me off to no end because they release something that's OP. 2 weeks later, they make it completely ineffective. So after that, I never did that again.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, right? When because I did quit for a while, right? And there was a number of reasons why I did. Had a bit of a hard family time going on and stuff like that. Had my stepfather was really ill and he was dying and stuff like that. But on top of that, what was the boiling point for me was when they changed everything. I literally coined, because we had no communication at the time, but I'd coined a fleet, an entire fleet, and the next day they brought out all of the deflection and the base hitting fucking rules with the 100% bypass and everything else like that. Literally within about 4 hours of me doing it, with no prior warning or anything. And I was just like, you know what? I've got too much shit going on in my life, and I've just spent a shit ton of money building that fleet, and with no warning, you've just fucking nerfed it within 4 hours. And I was like, come on. I put in a ticket and went, like, let's be fucking perfectly honest here now. You've just seriously fucked me big time, because you just haven't let anybody know about what's going on. And they just went, yeah, well, you pay for time. And that's what it is. So I was like, right, okay, fine. No worries, bye. See you later. And that was it.
I want to put a point of reference, and hopefully I think I might have to actually bring this up again at some point, but with the way that the game is now, like, they always want to know, well, how was it fun in this and that? It's really hard to kind of quantify how it was fun, but I can put it in somewhat context. I would never at this point set a timer for my baser to get to a certain base so I can get up and hit it and then come back and start repairing it when it gets back to base, right? Do you guys remember doing that? It was like a 2-hour drive or a 4-hour drive to get somewhere to hit somebody's base, and then you got to, get back on the game. And
Yeah, but I wanted to go and hit that base, so I didn't give a fuck.
And
no, and so just to be clear, nobody's saying that was fun, waiting 2 hours for your fleet to cross the map.
Right.
Nobody's saying that was fun. But yeah, it was like...
What I'm saying is that the game was fun enough, and it was engaging to the point that we wanted to do that. That's what I'm like. The game was fun enough where we're like, "Hey, this is cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set my timer, and I have my my alarm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there in 2.5 hours. I put the alarm on. I go do something, come in, whack a base, come back. 2.5 hours later, I come and start the.
Oh, we schedule hours ahead of time. Hey guys, tonight 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever. Everybody meets under this drag base here, and we're gonna go and hit every fleet we see on the map on sector 2.
Right? Yep. And now
the fleet will take 30 minutes to get there, and then you fight a few battles, then they get back, and the walk of shame that we talked today was actually twice the map speed of those days.
Yep.
But it was hard coded, so now when the map speed got accelerated, the walk of shame became extremely slow. But for the new players, that walk of shame when your fleet dies today that's so slow is twice what the original map speed was.
Map speed of 12, combat speed of 2.
Yeah.
We thought
I remember
we'd schedule like the day before. Hey guys, tomorrow 8 p.m. everybody meets here.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too is when they wanted to like kind of build on something that was successful, right? They came up with like the towers, right? And that was because of what we were doing, and that built on something like it wasn't invasive in terms of what they were trying to do, right? They wanted to monetize, yes, but it was a secondary monetization to something that we were already doing. Hey, they're hitting bases. Let's expedite that. So rather than make it cost something, like now, if they came out with that now, I have no question that they would somehow monetize the use of towers. I mean, that's the difference in the thought processes now, and it's it's a little depressing sometimes.
See, the thing is though, if you actually come out with something good, we would spend on it without question.
I think it's a matter of ratio too, right? It's when the people started calling them greed-eye, this greed-eye. It's just like back in those days, you'd fight a 5-minute battle. Oh, you lost? It's 1 coin to repair your fleet, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And 1 coin, 2 coins, it's 20 cents, and I'm back to another 5-minute fight. And this one I won, and maybe I can do another one without repairing. So let's say on average, maybe every 2 fights, 3 fights, you'd have to spend 2 coins. People would just keep spending, but for some reason, at the time, somebody didn't think that business model was attractive or sustainable, and so they kept just jacking up the repair time. Or today, you do a freaking TLC, and it's 10 hours and a half. It's like 22 coins to repair your fleet. It's $2.02.
It was microtransactions back then, and now it's like honest.
And it's not even fun because you're fighting a predefined target. You're not fighting other players, shooting the shit with your friends, bragging about how you drove your fleets and surprised the other guy and surrounded them and whatever. It's just you alone, boring, doing a TLC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that keys well into the last option here is experimentation. Because previously the build times and repair times were not that long. So you're like, okay, well, blow up my ship, I'll build this, see what works better. But currently with the tax that's, how taxed your shipyard is and the repair times, you can't
It's not even that. You can't really do experimentation because you look at it and you know exactly what you've got to build, really. If you were a long-standing player, you know exactly pretty much down to like 1, maybe 2 specials what you've got to build something in order to be even remotely good. And like I've said many times before, all put into a box, it's boring. You can't build anything because there's no point in experimenting because it doesn't work on most cases.
No, in most
It
cases
doesn't work, and you don't have the time. I mean, before, when anything could hit everything, as they said here in the options, you if you had 3 good fleets,
Exactly, yeah.
you're set. You have a ballistic, a missile, a mortar, maybe a subfleet, 4, okay? And you kind of tune them so they are better here and there in this circumstance versus that, because you never knew what you could find. People today don't remember. Back then in raids, when they created targets for raids, it was always a surprise. Raid starts today. What am I going to find? No idea. What are the targets? No idea. So you kind of had those 3 fleets in there, and you try, okay, this one worked better against that target. And the targets would be a huge mix. Like some of them would be pure open water FEF, and in the same raid, you'd have a base replica to hit, right?
Yeah.
And so you need a bit of everything. It was cool. Now, there's no time to experiment because all the time you got to keep up what? Skirmish, siege, assault, garrison, and conqueror, 1 or 2 conqueror fleets if you want. So it's 6 fleets that are purpose specific to fight a predefined target. And it's
exactly, yeah.
Too much.
But as far as solutions to that, as far as like besides the blanket idea of okay, we're going to lower repair time, we're going to lower build times. Is there other solutions such as things have been mentioned before that you can make things like weapons and specials that have already been built somewhat transportable?
No, I don't even think this. It's just like this whole put shit in boxes thing just doesn't work.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like what limits experimentation, because it's very expensive at this point to experiment on things. It's not fitting things in boxes because people are finding ways, especially in PvP right now.
Well, in PvP, yes, all right, fair enough. There are things that you can find in PvP, but in the entire rest of the game, everything's in boxes and everything's like out of the box builds, and that's
and not to mention that
that
if you're not very capable of playing one of the boxes they lay down for you, as David mentioned in chat, you're blocked from an entire aspect of the game. If you don't have an uranium fleet, you're screwed.
Yeah,
if you don't have a titanium fleet,
not even just that, Ren, you were then excluded from various other things as well.
Yeah. Oh, even now, right? You can't just today. You can't get a skirmish ship if you don't have the assault fleet, the top-notch assault fleet. Then you can get the skirmish fleet.
Yeah. So you're not excluded from just one thing. You're then excluded from the next, and then if you got to try and catch up, it puts you off, and a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's one of the things
that they can't get to that point.
Yeah. Mike, let's go to the next slide.
That was one of the concerns that I had with the razor tail switching the damage type, because like we're already seeing, if someone's trying to catch up and they have the razor tail and they don't have anything older, you're not going to be hitting some of those targets on the map because you can't.
And that is happening to some players right now.
Yep.
Right. Oh, I got a skirmish fleet, so I can go grab uranium. Ha ha ha! No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Surprise!
Ta-da!
Yeah.
And we asked them, can you guys change the existing map targets so players, can get uranium because they do explosive that? Oh, we'll look into that. No promises. We'll see. But in 4 months, you'll be able to get uranium really well.
Yeah. They don't want to take away the time that they're spending on the PvP refactor. I mean, that's why bounty wasn't adjusted at all. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I liked in that diary.
Bump. We have breaking news.
Do we now?
VXP weekend. Did I miss this? A new VXP weekend? Saturday?
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, because of Florence.
God damn, Laredo. I told him earlier I had nothing to do this weekend, so now we get a VXP.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it's because of the people that North Carolina, parts of South Carolina, and other people that have been out of power. it's a nice thing. I wish they had announced it earlier, so these people were like, fuck them, I'm out of it. But this is, it's cool. It's a 24-hour mini VXP weekend, and I think that the high point of this for people that have not been impacted is you can also have more fully formed fleets to experiment, as we've been talking about before, and try and understand some of the mechanics of these targets. Even though I assume, I don't know if we're going to get any feedback on this, I assume that the smart torpedoes are still going to be removed from these targets, or they've run into some sort of fix associated with that. Maybe that's part of the cause of the delay in announcing this. But this Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for people on the East Coast. And
Nice, guys. I'm off.
24
Great
hours
news
on.
about TXP. Great chat. Take care, everyone.
Later on.
later, Ed. So
So it is 24 hours. Just
Yep.
a one day. Okay.
So
Resting.
yeah, I was expecting it to happen. I was hoping it was happening. Well, because I assumed I was going to get crushed, but that never happened. Never even really rained on me. That was, whatever. What do you guys wish you were spending your time on? I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of this associated with what was going on earlier.
Having fun would be
Well, that's
like
in Battle
one
Pirates.
of the actual
I see.
fucking things that we would put on my.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
Damn.
Yeah. It's
none of the entire list is kind of.
Thing with this survey, which it's a good survey, but they don't really give you the choice you particularly want. Like on this one, having fun.
I guess they can judge from the answers which subset of players find which parts fun.
Right.
Well, see, really, I mean, let's be honest. Right, attacking other players' bases at the minute, not fun. You've not got.
It's not asking you at the minute. It's asking you what you wish you spent most of your time doing. I chose as number one attacking other players' fleets, but that's because I used to love the defending of bases when we were mob attacking. The clearing out guards or defending and guarding bases. I love that.
I put that at fucking the bottom of the choice purely because I've fucking pissed off people sniping people.
But that's not about sniping.
No winner. Huh?
That's a subset of attacking other players' fleets. It's your viewpoint. That's why you can't say fun, is because the fun is undefinable as a whole entity. You have to, each player's aspect of the game is different. It doesn't say really they're defending my base, which a lot of people is what gets them up. They enjoy that. And the problem is, Kicks have tried to identify what fun is and messed it up and taken away all fun. So if we all answer this as to just what we like doing best, then they'll be able to go, right, 1, 2, and 3 are the top things we need to look at. And these were the top numbers of 1, 2, and 3.
yeah.
That's the only way they can assess this kind of a question.
Yeah. And we have to jump to the assumption that it's in the current incarnation of what these things are. Attacking other players' fleets when you're both, you're going to have a day of repair time. That may not be something that people enjoy. for not being able to play the game for a day. So it's tricky.
See, a lot of people are going to answer that because there's 10. They'll rank all of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything will get a number. But I actually, where I didn't enjoy things, I put down not applicable.
Yeah, that's what I did
in my group. Yeah.
But
the construct will drive people to logically put number 1 to 10 as though they enjoy all of those 10 things, which people.
Yeah,
could take
I'll be honest. I put the 1 to 4 is what I put on there.
Yeah, I did. Some of them I put nothing on, mate. But non-applicable.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I put 1 to 4 and the rest are non-applicable.
Yeah. Perf's saying he put NA to 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, because of the way a lot of people think, they'll think their job is to rank 1 to 10. So they will fill in 1 to 10. And therefore, Kicks will get the message that they enjoy all 10 of those things.
Yeah, and that's sort of why I put these things up, at least for the people that are watching the show and that haven't done the survey. Just get their mind worked around like what's going on in the survey and have a discussion about it, whether they choose to join the show or not. That's the whole reason I did it, is so people can, be part of the discussion or listen to a discussion associated with it.
No, it's a great idea to explain and extrapolate what a voting system is about so that people can understand it differently or better or whatever, and then express themselves more clearly to Kickseye, which then gives Kickseye a tool to actually try and do something. Whether they do something correctly with it or not, a different issue.
Yeah,
but
inform voters. That's what I'm about. Yeah,
it's a good plan, my friend. Good plan.
Well, let's move on to the next one, so I can go to the after show in proper. Oh my goodness, they put a lot of choices on us, didn't they? What would you like changed about the game?
Numbers 2, 3, and 4 are probably the top 3 in the whole thing.
I mean, my favorites aren't even on the list, to be honest.
What's that?
I would want the stats in the game to be more explicitly communicated to the players. And that's not. Is that somewhere in here?
Part of the game. Not even on the list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, but
is Ben still here? Oh no, he's not. Is he?
No.
Right.
Why?
So yeah. Other shows might want to have number 1 as like. They're like entire fucking like. Let's have it because it looks good. It looks good. It's fine.
The art team, yeah.
My number 1 was lower repair times, because that's the only thing that it can improve the game.
Indeed, I agree. Lower repair time and costs.
I think it can follow that by the build time.
I think
the build time.
It goes lower repair time and costs, lower refit time before build time. To be fair, for me, because of the way that we get shafted constantly with changing targets.
Yeah, changes.
So, the one thing that I had, and this actually reminded me when I filled this out. Does anyone remember when they said, tokens are for building and refitting ships? Tokens was a band-aid, and they were supposed to correct everything. We've seen the overall tokens, the token availability drop, but we've not seen build times drop. I mean, if anyone out there is listening and can go back and figure out what we averaged for tokens over the last, couple of FM sections or years or whatever, because I remember there was one point when someone would figure, I think it was Laredo had figured out how many tokens we get throughout the year, including FMs and raids and all that other stuff. And I'm really curious to see what the difference is between then and now, because I think we're not going to be happy if we actually see those numbers. and I've not had a chance. I've been busy as hell. I've barely been able to play the game, let alone go back and do stuff like this. So if anyone has those numbers, forward them on to me, because I would love to fucking have a little chat about that.
On top of that, they went more towards specific build tokens over generic ones too.
Yeah, but that just limits our choice. I don't want my choice
Correct.
limited. It's
Yep.
already limited enough.
That's my point. So it didn't help in really lowering things.
Come back, multi-purpose fleets. That's all I'm going to say.
One of the things in this one that I put in my top 5, well, actually number 4, is the more fleet customization. I'm sick of the cookie cutter fleets.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, I love trying to come and build something outside the box. I kind of did it for the Razor Tail, but I would love to be able to have more options that worked. I think we said this earlier in the show. Like, things are becoming so niche now that it's very, very hard to build outside the box. You have those cookie cutter things, and I think part of it is because they don't want people to build incorrectly. Because you used to be able, like I think Ren said it, back in the day, we didn't know what was coming for the raid. You could be completely unprepared, right? And you'd be boned for that raid. And I think they're trying to avoid that by kind of, putting the blinders on the horse to go down the path. And that's all well and good, but man, I love figuring out odd stuff.
Yeah, the trouble with the blinkers they've got,
You're not the only one, George.
the trouble with the blinkers they've put on, George, is that they've actually managed to make it to the point where even those who are catching up that may have got the hull but not the newest weapon to go on it, not the latest special, are not having to drop back a tech or getting punitively punished as well, because it's near enough out of the box. The target
Exactly. Yeah, this is the major issue with it, because they're building targets purely for a set build. You are getting shafted if you've not got all of the bits for the build, which is really bad.
Yeah. And actually, I just got a message from Laredo. He actually did have it. He had when he had posted. So he posted in December 2016, and for the year, it was a total of 292 tokens. That included the raid and the FM tokens. I would really like to know what we have now, because I have a feeling we're not anywhere close to 300 tokens for the year. Actually, I don't know. Yeah. I would like to know. I would really like to know, because we don't get generic ones in the raid anymore.
No, so it's purely from the FM, isn't it?
Yeah.
Generic.
And we average
12.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 a week.
Minimum 6, isn't it? So
right. Well, I mean, who the hell gets more than 2 in one day in that last chest? I know I don't fucking get that.
Well, no, one of my alliance got one yesterday. It was like fucking dancing around for about 4 hours. So you got 9 days.
Average.
Times 12.
Average, you're getting 18 a month.
36 plus 2 equals times 6. We get 228 now through the FM. So 228 from 292.
And what's an average build time?
And the build time's gone.
So we're down
by
64.
about a day.
We're down 64 generic tokens. So we're down more than 2 months. So
I bet we're up 2 months in build times as well, at least.
Overall, yeah.
So, yeah, so it probably balances out at a 4-month deficit.
Yeah. Aaron, can you hear us?
Oh, I can definitely hear you guys. How you going?
We can hear you. Well, fucking join in, man.
Well, I'm hoping I'm not too loud because I'm busy working at the moment. So if there's too much background noise, guys, just let me know.
So you're at work joining the show.
I think he's sharpening his pitchfork, isn't he?
Oh no. I mean, I can hear stuff in the background. You need to get like some
Sounded like a bee.
earbuds and shit. That way you can mute the
I've got-
microphone and everything.
No, that's what I've got, but it won't hit the microphone for some reason. So I'm sort of stuck between doing shit and listening to shit and hoping I'm not talking over you guys.
No, you're not talking over us. That I don't think that's possible. See, you
Just
should have
before,
gotten
George.
those. You shouldn't have gotten those cheap New Zealand friggin' earbuds, man. You should have went with the nice Chinese ones.
It's not New Zealand.
I think
We're
you
a
might have
long
been
way
taking
from
the piss
New
there a little
Zealand.
bit.
What'd you say, Earth?
So I think
No.
you might have been taking the piss a bit there.
Something you were saying before. I'm pretty sure you were here before Blackwater Days finished.
I think
A few of us might have been.
Yeah, I think I was here. I started. So I was. I may or may not have been playing on someone else's account before I started my own, because I wanted to see what the game was like. And I started mine just before the first Revenge Raid. Like I like a week or two before that. So I caught the last. I think it was like month of Blackwater, a month and a half of Blackwater. So I remember it. I just was not like I didn't play it as long as like Hefe and Ren. Yeah, they played it for the whole
Yeah.
damn time. Like I know Vengeful One, he was around for that for sure. I think one of the Joe Mamas was. I mean, like there's a couple people that I know that were from way back, like that far back, but that question just kind of threw me off because I'm like, I don't know how many, like what percentage of the players now that are playing actually really remember and played Blackwater.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have
Yeah.
something in that in their code because they ask originally what your user ID is and how long ago you started playing. So
Yeah, I
with
mean,
the user
I think
ID, they can figure that out.
Yeah, I think that like
Why?
30% probably,
I don't even think it's that
maybe
much, man.
40 of my alliance anyway.
I
You say
play in a
it's not
completely
my
different
alliance.
base now. So my original base back then doesn't exist anymore. So there's no way of telling from my base ID whether I was a airman or not.
That's a fair point that we've all forgotten. There was a chore back in Blackwater days, and that was clearing the black water.
Yep.
You used to send fleets out just to do that.
See, that never phased me because it's a mechanic out of StarCraft, and I at the time I was playing StarCraft a lot.
But at the time there wasn't other chores, so it didn't phase many people. But it was still something you had to do.
Just send a gunboat out and throw it in the here or there, and
Well, we used to fight over trying to get Lucky Bastard.
Okay, let's move forward a slide, Mike. All right, this is my favorite turret special this week. So this is the end of the slides. It's sort of svelte on weight. It's not too bad. And if you're getting hit by witch doctors and sloths, I'm not sure if anybody out there is encountering this. But,
I have no interest in it whatsoever.
okay. Well, if you are,
I have no interest in it purely because they've released a really shit fucking armor that could have actually sorted out PvP, but they released it badly and wrong.
so you're not talking about this special. You're talking about something else.
Well, no, yeah, I know, but this special
just
then
making it
becomes
clear.
defunct because of that. Really?
Is this defunct or is something else? I'm confused.
no, this is going to be defunct because of the refactor because it's a percentage based.
Yeah. But you can put it on with base parts. I'm just saying people that are having issues with witch doctors and sloths, this might be a decent special for your turrets. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making any greater statements on the game. All right, who's making all the noise?
I think it's Aaron again. He was quiet for a while. And he was talking,
He's not even on. He's not even on. I'm assuming it's Earth. No, it's not Earth.
No, it's probably me. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Now you're there. Okay. Yeah, somebody's making a lot of scraping noises.
Sound like
What do
killing
we mean?
animals or something.
Yeah.
Not today.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take Mike off present because this is the last one. But yeah, I would recommend people at least take a look at this, even if it's going to be defunct at some point. It's we have we have so much stuff in our that we could take a look at, and but you got to know what the picture looks like and know what it means. So, all right, I'm going to put the link one last time on the right hand side, and we'll go to the after show because we're getting a lot of extra noise here. So, anybody have any parting statements? Yes,
No, but
and
you know what?
there's no low hanging fruit this week. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. I mean, I hope that someone gets that section that we talked about, Blackwater and what was fun and all that stuff. I think that was actually a really good section that should be in Kickstar's hands.
Hearing
or if
Remnant
anybody-
reminiscing was really good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if someone can clip it out after halfway post the show and post it on the forum, just that clip saying, we were actually willing to drive for 5 hours to hit a base. You know what I mean? Like that puts it in some stark contrast as compared to today's game. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see what people would say on the forums if that clip got up there. Because I think a lot of people, if you stop and think about that, compared to the crap that we're doing now, I mean, we were enjoying the game so much that it didn't phase us to wait 5 hours to go. And the thing is that's back when we had, like, what, 100,000 people playing? We had a ton of people playing back then on at once, as opposed to, participation of the raid was what, like 30 grand? I mean, I don't know.
But we had that versatility of
Fleets.
Frankenstein fleets. I remember somebody back in our day, George, building the battle cruisers with Q mortars, driving through bases like there was nothing else. They had ideas and they used them, and now these days we're pigeonholed into building certain things.
Yeah, I think when I first did, it was when I first joined HS1, I was using the battle cruiser with the hell was it? Not the Hurricane. God, the one that you could put the TAC mod on.
The Arbiter.
The Arbiter, yeah. And I was doing the raids, the raid with all the drones and shit in it. Fuck man, I can't remember any of these things tonight.
Yeah, but we had that. We used that with the Thud 4 and.
It's the Typhoon raids.
Yeah, it was the Typhoon raids, and I was doing some of the higher end targets with that, and like people were like, "Wait, what are you using?" Because they were using like battleships, and they were using like friggin', I mean, all sorts of shit. And I had these little dinky ass fleets, and I was even back then like messing with some of the mechanics and crap, and it was fun because most of the time, for the most part, I mean, there was some instances where they went, "Hey, okay, we got to adjust this," and they changed raids and stuff, crap that we did, but it was fun to try and find odd shit, and they didn't immediately react to negate the stuff. You know what I mean? They tried to work around it because it was kind of like a back and forth between the devs and the player base, right? Now, it's the things are so niche and so kind of narrowed that if you do find something outside the box, 9 times out of 10 you've broken something, and it has to get fixed. And it's either they fix it early and it's okay, or they're going to find it after the testing, and then that's going to fuck everybody. So I don't know. Back then the ability to kind of have Frankenstein fleets was fun, way fun. I loved it.
It was very fun. But it's not only that though as well. It's like even when you had to go out and do chores, to a certain extent. Like even if you were going out to go and hit uranium in the first place, you know, you could have a fleet that would do a uranium target, but still be able to defend itself on the map.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
that is the major. To be honest, that's my number one issue with the entire game at the minute, is that, you know, I have very limited time. I can go out, and yet I build fleets to enable me to have a good chance of doing what I need to do, and getting things what I need to do, you know, get the resources that I need to get in the limited time that I've got to be able to get it without spending a ton of cash. And you know, the trouble is that, you know, my alliance, all right, we're a bit of a pain in the ass. We'll hit people in sector and blah blah blah. We'll hit bases and things like that. We don't really go after fleets because we understand that, you know, the only winner is Kickseye at the end of the day. If you're hitting troll fleets, it just kind of negates the whole thing of it. But yeah, troll fleet repair time
Stupid.
is stupid when they can be hit by one conqueror ship and just completely wiped out for no repair to the attacker.
Yep.
And that's basically what is wrong with the game, big time to start off with before anything else.
that still falls under the general heading of repair time.
Well, yeah, but to be honest, it's the fundamental issue that is really wrong with the game right now.
You know, yeah, for example, you're not going to be able, a lot of troll fleets aren't going to, even if you stop the conqueror fleets hitting them, people are still going to be able to do it with fangs.
Well, no, they just need to be untouchable.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But the opposite argument to that is, you know, if you're going to allow that, then you've got to allow people to opt out of having their bases hit and make them have the option to be untouchable.
Well, no, you don't really.
But not yet, you've got to, because that's the opposite side of the argument. A lot of your hitting, a lot of your sniping is a product of you hitting bases. For some people who don't care about PvP, you know, or don't coin.
Yeah, but I think
you're still putting them out of the game and putting them behind what their objective is.
And I think the other side of that isn't opting out of PvP. I think the other side of that is making sure that the consequences aren't overburdensome. There's the word again. For when you get smashed, like have the researchers continue.
We're not even smashed, but yeah.
But this is my point. This is my point, George. We're talking about sniping and base hitting when the reality is the repair times in the pit. It's all about the player being penalised for kicks as advantage. In either instance, the only winner is kicks.
Well, I mean, dude, they got to make money. I mean, let's be honest. If they're not making money, we're not playing. I mean,
I fully understand that, but in the same respect that somebody like Earth gets his troll fleet hit and he goes and parks it up and doesn't repair it. There's as many people who, when their base gets hit, will go away for 2 hours and 10 minutes and not do anything, rather than spend the 4 or 5.
I do that,
or 12 hours. Yeah.
and that's why I said if they had.
And I'll be honest with you though, that what's even worse is that I will literally stand there and I will throw coin at fucking hitting bases all day fucking long, right? As soon as one of my troll fleets gets hit and it's on repair, that's it. I will fucking stop, and that was it. That is it. One of my troll fleets gets hit and it gets killed. I'll log off.
See, I completely understand that.
Simple as that. So you're losing all of that PVE, fucking possible PVE, if I fuck up, and all of my PVE fucking coining, everything, the lot, it will be gone like that. Bang, see you later, I'm off. See you later, because I just won't. I will not fucking coin in order to fucking do a troll fucking bullshit, basically.
Yeah, one of one of the biggest coiners in my alliance. I've never seen him hit a base yet, but he, you know, when he's doing PvE, he's right up the leaderboard.
Yeah. Let's. At this point, we've gone on for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
That's a Friday show. What the hell are you doing, dude?
I don't know. I'm gonna post the link in case anybody would like to join the after show. And anybody have any parting words for everybody besides, you know, we'll see you in 2 days and see how everybody's doing in the TLCs. Did they lower the damage, or is it the same, or whatever is going to happen at that point?
I think it's going to be the
Stop
same.
your sniping bullshit is all I've got to say. Fucking just stop sniping.
We brought that up earlier, you know. We brought that up right at the beginning of the show, as far as that being a big issue, as far as something that they need to change in the game. But yeah, at this point, I appreciate it because, you know, that's high on my list. You know, like, you know, I've seen, you know, my buddies get hit by level 75s. That makes it even worse. Level 75 sniping raid fleets.
Yeah, because they're just, and as a lot of the time they're people's ults as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had someone's alt 75 sink my my Katie's during the raid. My Katie's in my thing. I mean, that's just fuck it.
Yeah.
I walked away. It was a raid, and I walked away. I mean, that was just crap.
No, this is it. I will literally just walk away. I don't care. I won't even hit bases whilst my shore fleet's repairing, because then I've got to coin my fucking hitting fleet.
Can I just say there's this one ship in, I think this is target. Hell, is this target 2 in prize in the mastery round? That one of those reload ships. You've got to chase that damn thing across the damn screen. It's ridiculous. You can't catch it. You have to catch it up against the wall. Pisses me off. Anyway, sorry.
Does anybody have any parting words?
Yeah, piss with the wind, not against the wind.
Yeah, that's a good
thing. I'll be honest.
Cannon fodder, finally.
I can't be bothered looking because I'm just so fed up at the minute with all the crap. At the minute, it's just everything's wrong and there's no real fun.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna end the show, and the link is still visible on the right-hand side in case anybody'd like to join us. If not, we'll see you on Friday night. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Happy night.
That was the hardest